Hello, welcome. What do you understand by the meaning of God? What is the relevance of all these things? Why we are here? The purpose for everything, be it animals, human, man, woman. Why are we all here? Because I see a lot of people, they talk about God, they talk about men, they talk about women, structures, existence, and everything. Some say we are here by accident. I've heard some even who claim that our existence is an experiment of some higher being, that like when you make robots and now the robots exist, you are their creator, the inventor. So a scientist is termed as the master or some form of God to a robot, and the robot is below him, or it's the work of his hands. Some say that there is nothing to us after death, or there was nothing before us, before we came into existence. But I like to talk about God. I like to talk about a higher being, because I know there is a final boss. You are not the strongest, you are not the most powerful, you are not the ultimate power. No man is, no animal is, no creature is, even the heavenly bodies, they are not. But where is this power? How are we here if that power does not exist? That can only tell me we are not here minus the knowledge that put us here. We are not here by our own accord. There is a higher knowledge, a higher power. That is the reason we are here. The Big Bang don't make sense to me. It may make sense to you, because maybe that is where your level of understanding can reach. We are all different. Some have the understanding and the IQ way below, and so they say they invent theories to try and shield themselves from the reality. Let me tell you the reality, the reality of life. You as a man or a woman, you are not the most powerful. You are not, you can die. Death is one of the reasons that tell you that you are not the most powerful, you are not the final boss, you are not the strongest. If you are the most powerful, the most perfect, why are you dying? Why do we all struggle work hard, look for money, have children, wealth, fight for wealth, steal, others steal and rob, all manner of evil, just to have a portion of something to own, to eat, or to show off. But at the end of all this, we all just die. There is no difference between the death of a dog, the death of a lion, and the death of a man. And that tells you there is a force which is stronger than you, mightier than you. Death is a force in itself. And death, being a force, is more powerful than every mortal being, every flesh and blood being. So that tells you that we are everybody, every flesh and blood being. There is no one who is the most powerful, the final boss. We are all carnal beings are below death. Death is a boss to many people, and the agents of death. You know, the agents of death, the things that remind you that you are weak, you are naturally subservient or subject to forces above you. And death as is the things that remind you about all that. Things like disease, things like how you think about your safety. Like for instance, you cannot walk in some places at night because there is a fear in you of death. Things, agents of death. When you catch a small cold, it weakens you and puts you to sleep. Or a small bite from a mosquito, it can even bring down your body. Just imagine a mosquito, a small insect can bring down a whole well-built muscular man. And it's just a mosquito. The diseases, the things that happen, you can just be hit by a small object and you die. How weak is a man? How powerless is a man before the face of death? And that tells you you are not a god. You are not everything. You are not the omnipotent, the omniscient, or omnipresent. You bow before death. And that death is just one of the powers that are proven to you that is above you. That there is always something stronger than you. But why are we all here? Why is a man on the planet Earth? And that's just one planet, just the Earth. But we know, as humans, we have studied the extent of what we have, of what exists, space, planets, the universe as a whole. Is so big that the Earth itself a minute looking planet. But we live, we are here. Well, what is our purpose for being here? Are we here just to live in the bracket of maybe between 50 to 100 years? Or some get an addition surplus of maybe of 120 years, and some have had they even live more than that. But why are we here? Are we here to just exist in a small bracket of time and then vanish, and everything about us is forgotten? Everything, the wealth you accumulated, the conquests, the family you created, even the family you created, soon it forgets that there was ever a patriarch, a father. You just give it few years, few decades down the line, and they don't remember the grandfather. Or if they remember, it's nothing significant. It's nothing to them at that point in time. Just can you recall your ancestor, the name of some of your ancestors? Most people don't even know their names. Most people don't know that there once existed a great grandfather in their lineage, maybe, who did something, who had conquest, who was successful or did something great. But you are here because of him. But when he was here, it was something to him to do what he did, to conquer, to go to wars, to fight. There was something at that point in time which made sense to him, and he thought he was making a name for himself. But here you are, you don't even know his name, the name of your patriarch. So why are you here? That even if you make a name for yourself, those who come after you will not know the relevance of that which you did, the meaning or the power that was carried by your name. So what is your purpose here? To exist in a small bracket of time, eat, compete, accumulate wealth, power, and everything that excites man, and then vanish in that small bracket of time. That doesn't make sense to me. If it makes sense to you, then that is you. But all that, there is no sense out of that. That you are just a weak, that you exist just in weakness. You know, weakness, death is a weakness. Is one of the most powerful weaknesses of man, or of every flesh and blood being. To be called to be a mortal, to be a dying entity, that in itself is a weakness. And the fact that us existing here for that nonsensical purpose of living in that small bracket of time, and your name getting forgotten even by your children. You know, all of us came from, we were all born by some great grandparents, some people. For example, every tribe was once a family. Like when a man, for example me, I can decide to get a woman, and then we get children. Those children get other children who get children, and the procreation and birth continues. They become many until it becomes a whole tribe or a whole nation. Even the nations, a nation and a tribe, they are just the same thing. A nation was once a family of maybe 2 people, and they gave birth until there was you as a member of your maybe tribe and your other members. But the more they give, the more the children and the grandchildren gave birth, the more distant they became, and the more strange to each other they became. For example, look at your cousins. The distance keep growing. You keep becoming strange to one another. Some of you even don't know their cousins. But it all began from a simple coming together of 2 people with an intention to have a family, and suddenly and over time there was a nation, and you even forget that such a union existed. The name of maybe those who brought you here, so that maybe you speak a certain language, or you have certain characteristics which define that tribe or that nationality, that race. But it all began with a family that came together. And maybe that patriarch, as he started that nation, which is now a nation but was once a family, as he did that, to him it was such a big thing to have a family, to have children and grandchildren, to be surrounded by love, and to feel important, and to be useful, to be relevant in all this that we are talking about, to have a name, to feel secure, or to have some power in the presence of his friends, other people, other nations, to feel superior or to feel noticed. He was looking for something, trying to build something for himself. But now, decades later, you don't even know him. If you are asked about his name, you don't even know him. Like, he vanished in that small bracket of time. And if you know him, you will forget maybe your children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and generations that are going to come after you, maybe thousands of years from now, or even millions or billions of years. I don't know how longer all this is going to be. But what I know is that your name could easily vanish over time. So what are you here for? What is your purpose? What is it that can give you meaning? What is it that can add sense to your being here? You having that name which you were given at birth, that identity, that specific features you have that you were born with, your talents, strengths, and everything that is about you. How are you going to get meaning out of that? And how can that translate to your relevance across time, space, and the entire essence of existence. Eh? Are you just here to live and die? To live, to drink, to party, to have something to show off, to be proud about, to compete with your friends and enemies. Maybe have maybe have some supercars, and let your friends and enemies see that you are doing better than them. Is that what we are all here for? I see people talking about haters, enemies, everything about their existing and living here cannot make sense unless enemies and haters are mentioned. So that proves to me that many people live for others, to be seen, to be noticed, to be talked about, to feel superior, to feel great, relevant, to be more important than others, more beautiful, more handsome, richer. But how does that make sense when all this is just looks like fallacy? Because in no time you and me will not be here in these bodies. In few years, that which you have could be forgotten. That which you did to your friends or against your enemies, all that we will not be talking about that in few years to come. The generations to come will be talking about other things. And if you are so, if your aura is so great that it manages to transcend time, years, decades, then still it is still time is such a concept to me, complex to be. People have tried to study time as a unit of measurement. What is it about? Things vanish with time. Your conquest vanish with time. Your name is wiped out of the minds and memory with time. Even conquests, wars can be forgotten. In few thousand years, even what you did may be remembered as though it was a fictional story. Maybe you and me are trying to do something, and then later those who come after us will not make sense out of all you and me are doing now. And so to them everything becomes like a fictional story, an imagination, because they are not here to witness what is happening now, but they are just going to receive versions of stories that will not be the actual account of what is happening now. You know, things pass down over time. The stories, the history, they get distorted. They get they are not passed down generations in accurate manner as they were in the beginning. So over time, most things may lose sense even to those who receive the information, or to those who everything is told about what is happening now. So you see, time is a powerful thing. It erases everything, and your purpose here soon mean nothing. So whatever you said and did, over time it will not even be remembered that there was a you. Maybe your name is Kamau or Chebet, but the time wipes out the memory of that name, the essence of it. You vanish with what you did. And I ask a question: is that why we are all here? To just vanish in the bracket of time? To just exist like animals? You know, animals exist to eat, to eat, drink. There is nothing they do. They are just there. You too, you are just here. The only difference is we have been given the ability to do extra things, and we try to look better than others in whatever we do. It's not a bad thing to strive to be better, but there is something that comes out of that if it is not checked. And that is why we have all this envy, jealousy, robbery, corruption, thefts. You can strive to be better, but what is the sense out of all this? You woke up today, whatever you did, you could have gone to the shop, bought something, went to town, hung out, ate food, went to the toilet. Whatever you did, how does that make sense? In the billions of years that the universe seems to have existed, how do you become relevant in all this? How do you live a name that will ring through the ceaseless ages of eternity? That now, hereafter, there is something about you that can be talked about. The whole concept of existence. And how about the death? The things above you, the things stronger than you, the deaths, diseases, accidents, plagues, insecurities, terrorism, robberies, the things that scare you, the things that remind you that you are actually weak and can die, that even if you are a strongly built gym person, you are still weak. You are still susceptible to death, to disease, to the accidents, the trauma that come with the things that happen to this human body. That you are still vulnerable before time, that your name is vulnerable before time, before the billions of years that everything has existed. How do we make sense out of all that? To be able to be meaningful in all this. What I've come to terms with is that I am not the strongest person alive. There are more stronger people than me. People who have lifted weights. People who can lift crazy weights. I've also come to terms with the fact that I'm not the most powerful figure in terms of authority is concerned. There are more powerful systems, political figures, the elites that run the world, the presidents, the deep states, the who is who in the land. Why are they the who is who? Why not you? Why is not that you are not the who is who? That tells you are not everything in yourself. So don't deceive yourself that you are a god. You are not a god. I see people trying to see themselves as some form of gods. A god does not die. A god does not get sick. A god is not under powers and dominions and principalities and political figures. And these political figures too are go through the same things we go through. They die like everybody else. They get sick like everybody else. They experience accidents, robberies, terrorism, everything that reminds you that you can die also happens to them. You and them alike. Just like you, a dog, an animal. We can all die the same deaths. And it is only that there is honor among humans that the dead are buried. But if that was not there, even that body of yours could just be, when you are dead, it could just rot on the field like a corpse of an animal, a corpse of a dog, a corpse, any corpse, an insect flood it, just like any corpse. There is nothing special about that which you are, that which you carry around, that body. All this reminds you that you are below powers. Powers are above you. There are things above you which you cannot influence or control. There are things that put fears in you. Even if you think you can't fear, there are things that remind you that there is something above you that demands to be feared. When you think of death, you tremble. I see even atheists turn to be Christians at the point of death, and they repent all their sins. I see people go closer to God when they are down, sick, broken, when they are alone, when everything works against them. Why? Because everything reminds you that you are not the ultimate power. You are not the final boss. Everything puts the fear in you that you are not the stronger one. I told you I came to terms with the fact that I'm not the strongest in terms of physical. I'm not the fastest in terms of running. I'm not the most intelligent in terms of books. I'm not the most handsome. There is nothing unique about you. There is always something or someone above you. You are always below. And the fact that you are always below ought to put something in you, ought to make you to really rethink how you live. Because if you are not the ultimate boss, then it means there are other forces at play, other things above you, which have a say of how you die, of what becomes of your name here on earth, what becomes of your children that you live here, of the conquest you make, of the things you do. It means there are other forces that influence what happens to the things you do, the things you achieve, the name you make for yourself. It tells you you are not everything. You are not perfect. You are not the strongest. There are even animals very strong, stronger than you. And imagine, even the weakest, a small bacteria can bring down a man, a whole human being. A small mosquito can kill a small, very small, not a big animal. It can bring down a whole human. And in no time, you are forgotten because of a mosquito. Then how vulnerable is a man? How feeble? How powerless? Leave alone the things we fight about, the leadership, the dominions, the presidency, the wealth, the status, and all these things which are reasons as to why we are all fighting and hating each other. Why are you hating on one another and fighting and killing, stealing, corrupting? How is this going to make sense in a few millions, thousands of years? Even your child can easily forget you. So what happens to your name? I've seen children that cut off parents, relatives, and hate on everybody. So maybe you thought you'll have a name by having your lineage through your child or children, but they also cut you off and forget about you. So how does all this make sense? What is the purpose for which we are here? And having known that you are not the ultimate power, you are not the final boss, there are powers above you. Death is above you. Disease is above you. Animals can easily kill you. Both big and small animals can kill you. Objects can kill you. The creation, dead, inanimate objects can kill you. elements of nature, water, fire, earth, can destroy you. Spiritual forces can eliminate you. Then, are you still the final boss? I see some people try to say they are gods. The president of North Korea calls himself a god, and he's a dictator. He forces his subjects to worship him, or to worship his ancestors. But a god does not die. A god does not get sick. Even if a god dies, he resurrects. Have you ever heard about Jesus Christ? He died and resurrected. A god does not die. He is eternal, timeless, cannot get sick, cannot be killed by elements of nature, does not bow to fake dominions and powers. He is not controlled by fear. You know fear. Fear is a manipulative tool. The reason you fear is because there is something above you. If you are a woman, maybe you fear men. Maybe you fear how people perceive you. Maybe you fear the violence that you call gender violence. Maybe you fear a lot of things. If you are a man, you also have the things that causes you to fear. Even men fear. When the strongest man, when he is alone and thinking, there are times he questions everything, and everything puts the fear in him. That fear is something. That fear is itself is proof enough that above you are other things. And for that reason, you have to just be honest with yourself and recognize this fact. Death is above you. Demons are above you. Witches are above you. Animals are above you. Time is above you itself. Space is above you. Matter is above you. The creation is above you. It can kill you. Dead objects can kill you. A stone can just hit you and wipe you out. A car can hit you and you die. So everything is against you and it can destroy you. And you can just vanish off this planet Earth. But what happens hereafter? And when you are honest with yourself, that the reality of life is like that, then you begin to look. You begin to look for direction. Try to make sense out of everything. Why am I fearing? Why is fear in me? Why is fear of death in you? Why is fear of things? You even fear your friends. Women fear men. They say men kill, men rape, men do all manner of evils. And men fear women. They have their reasons. Women have done extremely bad things to men. You will fear everything. You even fear yourself of what you can do against yourself in an harmful way. All this fear means there is always something above you. There is always something better than you. There is always something which is ultimate above you. So you have to look up. You have to behold. To learn what is it that is up there. If death is a force, is a power above the mortals, stronger than mortals, what is it that is stronger than death? What is it that is stronger than the sufferings of this flesh? What is it that is stronger than the vanity of just existing in a small space of time, being killed or killing, or something happening to you? What is a better alternative to that? What is your purpose? Is your purpose just to exist merely like that, in fear of the wrong things, of the wrong forces? Ask yourself a question. If death is stronger than humans, what is it that is stronger than death? If time is more powerful than humans, what is it that is more powerful than time itself? If the elements of nature are more powerful than humans, what is it that is more powerful than all that? If a dictator like Kim Jong-un, the president of North Korea, is more powerful than his subjects, then who is it that is more powerful than him? Death is more powerful than all the presidents. They are not going to get out of here alive. So don't lie to yourself that they are some form of gods, or they are some form of God's favorite, or second to God, or God's deputy in some way. A God does not die. A God does not fear things. And if there is a fear in you, the only fear you should have is the fear of that final boss, that final power. Look up. If death is above you, look beyond death. What is it that is there above death? If time is above death, what is it that is above time? If space and matter are above, what is it that controls all that? What is it that is above that? If the universe is above anything, look, keep looking up. We look at the moon. What is it about the moon that is powerful? If you don't find meaning in the moon, look at the stars, look at the sun. What is it about the sun that fascinates you? The sun can cause famine, can cause drought, can cause weather changes, heat rush, skin cancer when the ozone layer is destroyed. So it is a power on its own. What if you look further? You begin to study the stars. Look at the stars. Where does their power begin and where does it end? Scientists have studied all this. And they have found, in their knowledge, in their studies, they have found out that some stars were born in some point in time, and the timeline in which they will exist, what will be their end, their destruction, what will become of them at the end of all this. Everything that you look at in nature, it has where its power starts and where it ends. Everything has aura, or the glory of it, or the beauty of it. But there is where it starts and where it ends. So look at the stars, the heavenly bodies, where their aura, where their beauty, where their excellence starts and where they end. And then you look at the universe as a whole. The universe itself is so big, so extensive, that the start of it and the end of it has not been comprehended or understood. What about time? Time is extensive too, and it is in fact a unit of measurement in computing of space distance. And space distance is computed in terms of time in form of light years. A light year is the time light travels from point A and traverses the universe in 1 year. Imagine if you light a torch and it takes maybe 5 seconds, or time travels fast, maybe 1 second to illuminate maybe a person hiding in darkness. It takes even less than a second, milliseconds, and you discover that there is someone here. It's because light travels to that object which you illuminate, hits that object, and returns to you, to your eyes, and it is interpreted in your brain that what you are seeing is a person. And that takes less than it takes milliseconds, all that happening. But now imagine a light year. Light traveling in a year, and still it has not covered. That amount of time is not enough for it to cover the extent of space. We hear of millions of light years, over millions of light years. Then how big is the universe? If one of the fastest things, called the light, cannot traverse it in such amount of time, such periods of time as we understand as humans, and you see how extensive, how big the space is. It is beyond your understanding. There are regions in space whose extent, features, glory, aura, and everything about them have not been learnt properly because of the limitations we have as human, by the things we have that we use to measure things, like time, light. We have a limited understanding of some regions of the universe in space. You see how big it is, how extensive. But we are here. We don't know what is out there. But we scientists keep finding ways to learn about that. So the more you go, the more you find things. The more you learn about things which are so big, extensive, which you cannot, which are the human mind cannot fully comprehend. What does that tell you? There are things, there are more glorious things. There is more aura beyond your understanding. There is more power beyond your understanding. There is a start of what you perceive as maybe wonderful or glorious or good. And then there is an end of it. There is a where it ends, where it is limited. For instance, when you are young, you may have perceived your father as a very strong, powerful figure, that no one can beat your father, that he is so strong, he fears nothing, he solves all your problems, that he's just the conqueror of the whole world. But as you grew up, you understood that there is a beginning of what your father can handle and the end of what he can handle. So you began to see the limitation of things, but you can still appreciate that little goodness in what we have and work with that. That little grace, that little aura maybe in your father, it inspired you to be strong, to be a dependable young man. But as you grew up, you understand also that life, there is a higher power. There is always something more powerful than your mother, than your father, than your village chief, than your president, than your pope, than every power that you are looking up to. So about time is even stronger than light. It's even more powerful than light itself. It is stronger than matter, than space, than everything we know to make up what we have, the universe. So you keep going. You keep shifting stages of understanding of powers and principalities and glory. You keep going up. The more you go up, the more things fascinate you. The more you try to understand, comprehend. But in all this, you find out that you are not final. You are not a god. You are just vulnerable. But how does that give meaning to your existence, you and me? How can we make sense of that? What are we here to do? Are we here to fight and kill one another, to hate one another, to work against nature, to work against what we have? Are we here to compete, to hate, to tear into, to kill, to hold grudges? What is your purpose? Everything that everyone is doing is not purpose. They think it is, but wait and see. All that soon vanishes with time, after they are long dead. Death itself is a reminder that there is always something to fear. That is why God says, fear me. Fear means know your place. Know that you are not everything. You are not a God. Fear means you can die. Fear means there are things above you which can wipe your name, which can destroy you, which can wipe out any memory of you, any remembrance of your name, anything about you, any DNA of you. What does fear mean? The fear of God. It means you are not equal with God. You are not God. You can die. You can get sick. You can fear death. You can fear disease. You can fear wild animals. You can fear water. You can fear fire. You can fear the earth itself. You can fear the things that are there in nature. Everything can be against you, and that puts the fear in you. That fear is always trying to point you to a higher power, the ultimate power, the boss. And that brings me to God, the fear of God. When you have known who is the ultimate boss, who is the power, who has the government, who is holding all these things together, then you directly fear him. All these other things do not scare you anymore. Death do not scare you, because having known the right being to fear and placing that fear in the right place will make you to be at ease, and and get meaning out of life. That even if you die, there is something about you here on earth, purpose. There is meaning out of life. Life has purpose to you. And the purpose that comes with the fear of God is the ability to love others, to be respectful, human, to be kind, to be humble, to recognize that you are not special, and try and at least be good and humble and patient with people, and live life in a reasonably good way, and do something that can positively impact those who don't seem to have life, happiness, or meaning in their lives. To lift up, to bring up others, to lift their hearts. That is something. That is what I see as purpose. And with the fear of that ultimate boss, I don't know what you want to call him, but I call him God. How you understand or perceive him, that is you. But I perceive him as God. My definition of God is the ultimate power, the boss, stronger than all, not controlled by fear. He is the boss. He is above you and me. And this boss, the reason he is above you is because he can kill you. That makes you to know that you are not equals. He can kill you and do whatever he wants to do with your name, any memory of you, and whatever can become of you after you depart this life, after you die. So he can kill you, or he can be good to you. That is the version of God I know. He is not just a good God. He is not limited to being good. He is both good and he can be bad. That is what makes him to be God. The fact that he can do good to you, or he can be bad to you. He can make you, or he can destroy you. He can heal you, or he can give you disease. He can give you a name, or he can make it vanish. He can give you meaning, or make you lose meaning of life. He can give you the most traumatic, painful life experience you have ever had. Or he can give you the best, meaningful, good, comfortable life you can live. He is God. That is what makes him God. I see people try to limit him to being good. And I see people say, God is good all the time. That version of God is a weak God. He is a limited God. But the boss is not limited. The reason he is God is because he has both sides. He can be good or he can be bad. That version of God that you have learnt from your childhood, that is just good, he is there to be good all the time, that he has no capacity to harm you or to kill you or to be ruthless to you or to be merciless, to cause bad things to happen to humans or animals. That version of God that you learned from when you were young, that he is good all the time, that he has no capacity to enforce that other side of him. That version of God is a wrong version of God. It's a weak God. The ultimate God is both good and bad, and he does what he wants. He is the boss. And fear means the fear of God. What does it mean? It means fear him because he is stronger than you. He is more powerful than you. He is timeless, but time is stronger than you. He is not affected by elements like you are. Fear of God means know that you are below God. Know that he can make your living experience the most terrible, or make it the most beautiful. He can do what he wants. That is one description of God. The capacity to do what he wants. He is the final boss. And what does that mean? He does not follow the rules that humans set, that they have set for themselves or set for him. that they want to cage God in some form of laws, expectations. They have created in their mind a version of God. In their imagination, they have fantasized about God being this weak, humble, and good all the time, merciful being who can take disrespect anytime, who can accept ridicule just without consequences, who can take blasphemy without acting. That when God kills, you begin to complain about God. You begin to complain that this God is not even good, that he harms, that he is evil, he is unfair, he lets innocent people die. So you complain about life when you misunderstand God. And those are the reasons that that many people who don't believe in God or the existence of God bring forward when they are questioned about why they don't believe in God. Let me tell you, God is not weak. That is why he set up everything in the universe the way it is. God is our boss. God does not live by the laws that the creations, the people try to make for him. He does not follow. A king does not follow laws. He is not confined by the laws you and me follow. You know, even if you don't want to admit, there are laws above you. There are laws which are stronger than you and me. For example, the laws governing time. You know that you naturally are subservient and subject to time. The law of time. You are below it. You can do nothing against it. Even if you complain, time has a way of wiping out your mortal existence. It has a way of wiping out the memory of you. That is just one of the law of the universe. Others, there are many laws which exist that govern the existence of everything. Those that you are told to follow, and those which you follow by force. Even the law of death itself, you cannot escape it. Dust must go back to dust. That is the law of death. The laws which you cannot avoid, which you cannot overcome. The laws which were set before you were born, that you abide by, even if you don't want. You go down to the grave, you descend into earth. Even if you push the thought away, it is just coming. You cannot avoid it. So you abide by all these laws, divine laws set by God. And then there are those laws which you have the power to decide to keep or not to keep. Like the laws of conduct between yourself and another human being. You can decide to keep or not keep them based on the level of your conscience, what has shaped your beliefs and upbringing and everything about you. The laws that you can choose to keep or not keep, or the laws about your conduct between that final boss, higher boss. But somehow, even if you refuse to abide by what the final boss has set up, you will always be below something. When you refuse to keep the commandments of God, like loving one another, not killing one another, not stealing or robbing one another, and everything that He gave us so that we can coexist properly with one another. Even if you refuse to keep those laws, you will keep some other laws. You will be below some other powers and principalities. For example, if you kill, for example, now, automatically you are taken under some form of power. You can be arrested and jailed for life. And that's the outcome of your action can traumatize you for life. You can regret for life. Those are powers in themselves, controlling how you are going to live your life after your action. So something is above you. It could be the government, the trauma, the mental state of your mind after what you do, or whatever motive that drives you to do what you do, to break that those laws instituted. Whatever that motive is, that is what controls you at that point in time. That is what is boss to you. So one way or another, you cannot run away from authority. You will always be above. You'll always be below something which is way above you. You will always be controlled by whatever motivations inspired by anything in you, whatever motives, whatever decisions, all that is about you are powers. It could be forces that are influencing you, but you don't know them. You think they are just decisions you are making. It could be dominions and principalities, powers, dark forces, spirits, demons that you are subservient to, that you do their bidding. When they say go left, you go left. When they say kill, you kill. When they say kill, steal, you steal. Whatever software is running your being, that is the power that is above you. And besides that, some of these powers are too strong than you. Death, forces, everything is above you. You cannot avoid, cannot run away from them. Even time, and everything catches up with you one way or another in some point in time, under some circumstance. You cannot avoid being under things. So everything puts in you the fear of things, but you are always fearing the wrong things. That fear in you, reserve it to fear the highest, most powerful, most omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, the most good, the most bad or terrible final boss. You know, God is both, is the most good, the goodest. How do we describe it? the best. He can be the best or the worst to you. How what becomes of you is how he shows himself to you. How you perceive him is how he manifests himself to you based on how he decides he wants to show up. He can be the best entity to you, or he can be the worst entity to you. But he is still the boss. He is still the final boss. What you choose to do before him, he still has power over you. He's stronger than you. He can influence how you live life, what you do, or what you choose not to do. So fear him simply means you are weak, but you can be strong by positioning yourself in where you ought to be and doing what you ought to be doing. Many people have strayed from their purpose, what they ought to be doing, where they ought to be, the role that they ought to be playing. A man wants to be a woman, and a woman wants to be a man. The snake went to be a lion, and the lion went to be an elephant. All this is mixed up, trying to fit where you were not designed to fit. Every bolt or nut is designed to fit somewhere according to the designer's specifications. You and me ought to be somewhere where we are supposed to be. You and me ought to be fulfilling some purpose, doing the best of what we can do, being the best versions in wherever we were originally designed to be by the designer, the ultimate designer. Positioning yourself where you are best in. Just imagine a man trying to be a woman, trying to be, I see the transgenders, everything. You cannot become a woman if you are not born one. Even if you try, you will just become the ugliest, weakest, the most bizarre, the most out of place representation of that thing that you want to force yourself to become. But if you are in where you ought to be doing what you are originally designed to be doing, being the best version of yourself, being meaningful to yourself and to those around you, and doing something impactful for yourself, the society, the future generations, and upholding the good for which you are here, for which you have been born, for your existence. I see that doing something you're supposed to be doing, being where you ought to be, being best in what you are as a being, is supposed to be your purpose. Is something you can be remembered for. Is something that can transcend the ceaseless ages of eternity. Think about the famous